Hi, today I'm going to do an 80s inspired look. I did a cover recently with model Laura Stone and a fashion story that was really 80s inspired, and I really enjoyed doing that kind of makeup, and it kind of got me back into it again. My model today is called Sheila, and her parents are Ugandan. She's got amazing skin, beautiful, beautiful skin. She's a biomedical student, so she's super smart. And when I first met her, I thought, gosh, she really reminds me of Grace Jones. And then it turns out she's telling me she is a musician as well and a singer. So maybe she is the next Grace Jones. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you like the look. So before I start doing any foundation, I'm going to do some eye makeup because I'm going to use powders and they're going to drop down. So I'm going to start by using some eye base. And this is Pro Prime by NARS. All over Sheila's eyelids. Now, because this is 80s makeup, I feel like I need to have some blue in there somewhere. I'm just going to use some of this fluid line as a kind of base as well before I put the shadows on. I'm just going to blend that over the lid. This is more of a base than anything, so it doesn't need to be a particularly good shape or anything. We're just going to give a little bit more intensity to the shadow. So next I'm going to use some colour. I'm going to use some of the brights from this Inglot palette I've got, and I think I'm going to start with this really royal blue. Okay, so I'm just going to press the colour into the liner there. So it should come up nice and rich and metallic. And then just take those edges off. It's going to be quite a winged shape, but I'll add that once I've got the liner on. So next I'm going to use some black track liner with an angled brush to start building up a wing shape. So just pressing that into the roots of the lashes. So while I'm here, I'm just going to use a little bit of matte black powder as well. This is an RMK one. And just softening that edge. So I'm going to go on to base now. I'm going to start by using some of the Cover FX, and this is a full coverage cream, which I'm not going to put on full coverage. I'm just going to use it to even out Sheila's skin tone. So I'm going to put more of a thin layer on all over. Next I'm going to use some MAC Sculpt, Studio Sculpt. This is just slightly brighter, a little bit lighter. I'm going to use it more as a concealer, and also just to lift areas here in the centre of the face. So I'm going to apply this to the centre of the Sheila's forehead and also around this area, around the mouth. I'm just going to put a light dusting of powder as well. This is a Fashion Fair one. Powder was quite a big thing in the 80s. People tended to be quite well powdered. So back to eyes and black track, and I'm going to do a horrible thing to you now, which is put some black on the lower waterline.
Oh gosh.
Okay, well done. You did well there.
I'm on the verge of watering.
I was going to do your upper waterline as well, but I think I'll leave that.
Yeah, please.
Just put your head back and sniff a bit. That helps. Whenever your eyes water, if you do that, it really, really helps.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to this blending brush that I used on top, and look up for me. It's not really lining because I'm going to do quite thick under here. So all the way along, and then I'm going to use the black powder again, the RMK powder, and smudge this in. So I'm just going to blend all of that in, just to give it more of a winged shape. So I haven't finished the eye makeup yet, but I'm going to go on to blusher now, and there's two great shades from MAC. Because blusher was such a big thing in the 80s, there was nothing quite like it before the 80s, and there's been nothing quite like it since, in terms of how much blush, the sort of shades, and also the shape. And the shape was really sculptural. So the very strong stripes of colour coming down onto the cheekbones, so there was not too much blending going on. It was really about getting that incredible killer cheekbones, not to look natural, ever. It was more about having the killer cheekbones and the incredible colour. And it was always brought high onto the temples as well. And the sorts of shades would have been these sort of red, quite bright reds, very burnt corals and quite shimmery coppers and colours like that. Everything that really stood out on the skin. So I've gone all over with the Simply Scarlet and then over the top with Breezy, which has got more shimmer to it. I'm just going to blend those edges in a little bit with Breezy. So next I'm going to carry on with the eye makeup. I'm going to introduce this very coppery shade. This is a Bourjois Intense because it was such an 80s colour, kind of reddish copper. I'm also going to use a little bit more of the blusher. So I'm going to use a little bit of Breezy and Frankly Scarlet and just add a little bit at this outer corner with a little bit of the copper. Bringing it up onto the brow bone and then blending that all in. That just says 80s to me, that colour. And then just blending a little bit of the copper above the eyebrow. And then just putting it over the top of the blue and blending all those edges. Like so. Open your eyes. Not that anyone used to do that much blending back in the 80s. Just whack it on, really. So brows were quite neglected in the 80s. They were quite messy. People didn't really groom brows. It wasn't really a polished brow, and it was often just left. Grace Jones definitely used to give her eyebrows a real high arc. So I'm just going to fill in using Stud brow pencil. So brows are done. Now we're going to use some mascara. Let's do eyelashes. Are you okay having your eyelashes curled?
Yeah.
Yeah. You try, give it a go. Yeah, just look down for me. Next I'm going to use the 17 Blowout Volumizing Mascara. It's got a really big fat brush. I'm not going to use any fake lashes because fake lashes weren't really mainstream in the 80s. People just put lots and lots of mascara on, but very few kind of regular people used fake lashes. Certainly weren't as readily available as they are now. So before I finish off eyes, I'm going to start with lips. I'm just going to put a layer of, this is Glam by MAC. So it's kind of a pinky reddish colour. And next I'm just going to use this really deep plum lip liner. It's this sort of deep burgundy shade. Next I'm going to use a very glossy dark red. This is by Beverly Knight. Over the top of everything. So they weren't shy of lipstick in the 80s. Plenty of lipstick, plenty of lip gloss. So just going to do a couple of last minute tweaks around the eyes. I think this black needs intensifying firstly a little bit. And bringing out a touch. And then a little bit more of the blue coming up there would be good. And also a fraction more blush. Like that. And then a tiny bit of the red blusher with some orange eyeshadow from Inglot. So that little bit of pop of orangey red there just keeps it looking very 80s. So last touch, bit of extra blush. There's no such thing as too much blusher for an 80s look. I really feel that strongly. These colours look amazing on you, Sheila.
Yeah, I wish I was a teenager in the 80s.
I feel like you've missed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have been rocking this look. It looks great. Now, I've got some original 80s earrings because I don't think an 80s look is complete without earrings. Firstly, these are original Jean Muir 1980s earrings. Completely mad. But I've also got these, kind of what everyone used to wear. Unbelievably heavy.
Yes, very.
Let's put these on. Yeah, they're definitely rocking the 80s. And I think that along with a sort of nice glossy red nail, and you are ready to hit those 80s nightclubs.